There's no doubt your childhood was shaped by at least one, if not several, amazing animated films. But do you know which animated sequels are considered the best of all time? Believe it or not, one of the greatest animated sequels ever came out just recently, and it's none other than the highest-grossing movie in Disney's history, Inside Out. The first film about Riley and her emotions was released all the way back in 2015. That may feel like a long time ago to you, but not to me. We followed the story of 11-year-old Riley and her 5 main emotions: joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear, who live inside her mind and help her navigate a big move and all the ups and downs of childhood. And to be totally honest, the 2015 movie was phenomenal. It scored an incredible 98% approval rating from both fans and critics. But what was already amazing somehow got even better when Inside Out 2 premiered in 2024, 9 years later. Now 13 years old, Riley is officially a teenager. That means some new emotions take over the control center: anxiety, embarrassment, envy, ennui, and nostalgia. These new emotions totally shake things up and challenge the core group we met in the first film. Riley's mind is now way more complex than before, with brand new sections like the belief system and sense of self. The movie dives deep into the inner struggle between who I used to be and who I'm becoming, which hits home for both teens and nostalgic adults like us. That's why the movie ended up being even more successful than the first one. And honestly, maybe even a little funnier too. Just a little. But without a doubt, both films are brilliant and absolutely worth watching if you haven't already. So come with us now, let's blow your mind and explore these sequels together. In 2025, the live-action version of How to Train Your Dragon was released, based on the beloved 2010 DreamWorks animation. And they only bring these stories to live action when the original is truly amazing, which this one definitely is. But even more impressive is that DreamWorks didn't just make one, but 2 sequels that outshined the original: How to Train Your Dragon 2 in 2010 and How to Train Your Dragon 3 in 2019. And hands down, Hiccup and his friends had one of the biggest and most epic glow-ups in animation history. We first met Hiccup in 2010 as a clever but scrawny and insecure kid, who eventually became a bearded, dragon-riding Viking leader, married to Astrid and father of 2 by the end of the 3rd film. Alongside our favorite main character's personal growth, the dragon battles and storylines grew deeper and more emotional too. Spoiler warning, we got the reveal of Hiccup's long-lost mother and later had to say a heartbreaking goodbye to Stoic, his father. But we were also introduced to the Light Fury, Toothless's partner, who played a major role in the 3rd movie. Bottom line, How to Train Your Dragon just keeps getting better with each film, and the same goes for the live-action version. It turned out amazing. The same year, How to Train Your Dragon debuted another animated classic hit theaters, Despicable Me. This was the first time the world met the Minions, and it launched a whole franchise with multiple sequels and spin-offs. But none of those would have happened, not even the Minions movies, if Despicable Me 2 hadn't been better than the original from 3 years earlier. Gru is no longer a villain. He's now a fun and loving father. We get to see him evolve from a supervillain into a hero, not just for his daughters, but for the whole world. Meanwhile, Agent Lucy enters the picture and ends up becoming Mrs. Gru by the end of the movie. The Minions also get more screen time, and their invincibility becomes the foundation of the evil plan cooked up by the villain El Macho. With major improvements in animation quality, it became even easier to fall in love with the characters, and especially with those hilarious, chaotic, and oddly adorable minions. Let's go back in time for a second and talk about one of Cartoon Network's most successful franchises, Ben 10. No doubt it was awesome getting to know Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Grandpa Max in the original 2005 series. But when Alien Force hit the screen in 2008, it seriously took things to a whole new level. Now 15 years old, Ben is way more mature, confident, and fully aware of his responsibilities, not just as a protector of Earth, but as a guardian of the entire galaxy. Maybe even the universe. The villains were way more intimidating too, like Vilgax, Albedo, and the DN aliens. And let's not forget all the new aliens Ben unlocked in the Omnitrix, especially Wrath, my personal favorite because he just couldn't stop yelling during fights. Plus, the battles with the Forever Knights were epic, and both Gwen and Kevin had amazing character development too. Everything about this sequel just hits the mark. Jumping back into the world of animated movies, we've got to talk about Kung Fu Panda, which was already great, but also about Kung Fu Panda 2, which somehow managed to be even better. In the first film, Tai Lung was a villain motivated by revenge and a thirst for power. But in the second movie, we get Lord Shen, an enemy who already has power and represents vengeance in its purest form. He's the one responsible for wiping out the Panda village. At least that's what everyone believed back then. Which led to Po's mom sacrificing herself and placing baby Po in a basket that eventually floated to his adoptive father. Beyond this more powerful storyline, the movie is also funnier, with Po now leading the Furious Five, who have become his close friends and battle partners. From start to finish, this 2011 film just tops the original 2008 movie, even though that one was already amazing. And hey, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next uploads. You may not realize it, but way back in the distant year of 1995, a movie hit the big screen that would go on to become a landmark in animation history. Its name, Toy Story. The stars, Woody and Buzz Lightyear. It's one of the earliest, and still one of the greatest, animated films ever made. The story focused almost entirely on the rivalry between Woody and Buzz as they fought for the attention of their owner, Andy. Eventually, they worked things out and became not just friends, but best friends. That's where Toy Story 2 came in, with a new villain, Stinky Pete the Prospector. And it also introduced us to Jessie, Buzz's future love interest. The world of Toy Story really expanded in this movie, moving beyond Andy's room and neighborhood. We even got to explore a giant toy store and a museum. Then came Toy Story 3, which gave us an even darker villain, Lotso. Oddly enough, that actually made the film even better, filled with high-stakes moments and big adventures. I'm not kidding. I almost had a heart attack during the incinerator scene. That moment was absolutely epic. Yep, even when something's already amazing, there's always room to level up, and Toy Story proves it, at least for now. Now let's jump to another classic, this time in 2D animation, The Lion King. The 1994 original even got a pretty cool live-action remake in 2019. But for fans of Simba and his crew, the real nostalgia came from the animated Timon and Pumbaa TV series. This spin-off is honestly one of Disney's best shows ever. It focused entirely on the meerkat and warthog duo who rescued Simba and taught him how to survive and chow down on bugs, just like they did. Even though it's often overlooked, the 1995 series was just plain awesome. Every episode was hilarious. Like Laugh So Hard You Almost Pee Yourself level, and it gave us a closer look at the dynamic between the two funniest characters in the Lion King universe. Back to DreamWorks Animations. We definitely can't forget the recent sequel to Puss in Boots. Without a doubt, the movie released exactly 11 years after the first one absolutely blew it out of the water. With amazing characters like Perito, Kitty Softpaws, Jack Horner, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the movie is absolutely hilarious. The storyline is completely unique, there's really nothing else quite like it. And we can't go without mentioning the character who isn't quite a villain or a hero, but was totally unforgettable. The Big Bad Wolf, acting as a chilling emissary of death, coming after the protagonist's final life. Seriously, whoever wrote the script for this movie deserves a huge hug, but the person who animated the final fight between Puss and the wolf, that person deserves a kiss on the forehead, because that scene turned out so incredibly good. So if the first Puss in Boots deserved a 10 for being a great movie, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish deserves an 11, because it was unforgettable. So far, we can confidently say the Shrek franchise doesn't have a single bad movie, and we're really hoping Shrek 5 keeps that streak going. But even though we love the first film where we met all the iconic characters we still adore, there's no denying that the second one was even better. Especially when you consider that the main villain, the fairy godmother, is a character we've grown up loving in fairy tales and Disney movies. Just that twist alone brought a perfect dose of dark humor that made the movie even better. And on top of that, Shrek 2 also gave us hilarious references to movies like Alien and The Little Mermaid. And let's never forget, this is the movie where the most adorable character of all time, Puss in Boots, makes his debut. This one is, hands down, the best movie in the entire Shrek series. Jumping back again to the golden age of cartoons from the 90s and 2000s, we absolutely have to talk about the animated series that first brought the planet's greatest superhero team to the screen in epic fashion, Justice League. Released in 2001 with 2 solid seasons, the series was such a hit that an expanded follow-up immediately launched, Justice League Unlimited. What started with just the core 7 heroes, led by Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, grew into a huge roster with dozens of superheroes from all around the world. But of course, the founding members remained the leaders of the team. The animation introduced a much more complex plotline, featuring evil versions of the heroes from alternate dimensions, a battle against Cadmus, a secret government organization out to wipe out superheroes, an epic war against Darkseid, and ultimately, a legendary showdown between the Flash and Brainiac, who had possessed Lex Luthor's body. The word phenomenal perfectly describes this amazing series. And honestly, if you didn't already know, it's thanks to this show that DC Comics movies are even still being made today. Big shout out to Warner Brothers for giving us such an unforgettable gift. As a bonus, let's give an honorable mention to something we're all hoping turns out to be just as good as the original version. We're talking about The Amazing World of Gumball, which is coming back in 2025, 5 years after being cancelled. We don't know yet if this new chapter will be on the same level as the original series, but we're hoping it makes our next list of the greatest sequels ever. Please don't let us down, Cartoon Network. We're counting on you. And that's a wrap on our list of the best animated sequels ever. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video. We've got 2 more videos right here on the side so you can keep having fun. Pick one and let's jump into the next one.